So in this tutorial, we will be studying about the excitation table and the excitation equations. So for a quick recall, we need to understand what is a state diagram, a state table, state assignment, and what is a transition table. Because all these concepts will be useful when we try to obtain the excitation table and the excitation equations. So a state diagram basically is a graphical representation of a sequential circuit where individual states are represented by a circle with an identifying symbol located inside. So in this particular state diagram, as you can see, we are having 4 states A, B, C and D. So each of these arcs will indicate the transition that is taking place between the various states and within the state itself. And the arcs will contain the input variable which causes the transition. And we can draw the state diagram for 2 different types of model that we have seen, the Mealy model and the Moore model. So we have also seen this particular state diagram and we have seen how to obtain the state table for the state diagram that is given here. So state table, as you know, is a tabular form of a state diagram. So the present states will correspond to the all possible states in the machine. So you can see A, B, C, D are the various states in the machine. So these correspond to the present state. And we have a series of next state columns that exist, one for each combination. Meaning, if you are considering the next state to be of 2 inputs, X and Y, then we will have 4 different combinations of the inputs 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 and 1, 0. So in that way, looking at the state diagram, we can obtain the state table. So the purpose of this particular state table is to indicate the state transitions as to how the transitions occur between the various states in the state diagram. Next, from the state table we obtain the transition table, and for the creation of the transition table what we require is that the specific state variable values have to be assigned to each state. So in this particular case what we have done is that we have considered the states A, B, C, D and we have assigned the variables 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 and 1, 0 because there are a total of 4 different combinations and we have named it as FA and FB. Moreover, the assignment of the values to the states variables will be called as making the state assignment that we have seen. And the state assignment will link to the abstract state symbols to the actual state variable binary values. So if you look at this state diagram and if you look at the state table and the transition table, this is nothing but it's all equivalent. From the state table we obtain the transition table, from the state diagram we obtain the state table. So we have all seen this in the previous tutorial of state machine notations, and this will be very much useful when we try to obtain the excitation table and the excitation equations, especially the state table and the transition table that has been specified here, because for all the flip-flops that we are going to see, that is the JK flip-flop, SR flip-flop, T flip-flop and D flip-flop, we will be assuming the same state diagram, the same state table and the same transition diagram. It is just that we are going to use the flip-flop that we want and make modifications in the transition table to obtain the excitation equations. So let us move into the first type of flip-flop, that is the D flip-flop, and try to obtain the excitation table for the D flip-flop. So before that, we need to see what would be the characteristic table and the equation for the D flip-flop. So in the D flip-flop, we have the present state and the next state. If you can recall how we had obtained the characteristic table or the characteristic equations, you will be able to understand this table very easily. So we had considered 4 combinations 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1, and we had seen to it that whatever the value of D is present here, the same value will be present in the next state. So if the data is 0, in the next state data will be 0. If data is equal to 1 here, the next state data will be equal to 1. So same thing repeats. In other words, I can say that the next state is equal to the value of the data. So from this, what we understand is that once the changes in the flip-flop outputs are known, the next state is to determine, or the next step is to determine the excitation inputs needed to cause the desired flip-flop output changes. Now, to obtain the excitation table for the D flip-flop, what I'm considering is that I'm considering the transition table for the state diagram that I have previously considered. So that is why I said this would be the standard thing that you would need to remember for the topic that we are going through today, because this is the state diagram, this is the state table, and this is the transition table. So this would be used as a reference for all the flip-flops excitation tables. So for that purpose, what I have done is I have considered the transition table which was previously used. So this is the transition table and this is the excitation table for the D flip-flop. Now here, if you compare the D flip-flop characteristic table and the table of excitation for the D flip-flop, you would note that here you have the present state and the next state. So what we have done here is that since this transition table is having 2 flip-flops, FA and FB, so the same 2 flip-flops I'm going to use FA and FB here, and if I'm going to use 2 flip-flops, that means it is equivalent to using 2 D flip-flops. So instead of writing in the next state as FA and FB, I have represented it as DA and DB. So you can compare the excitation table with that of the transition table. So wherever you have FA and FB in the next state, there it has been replaced by DA and DB. Now when you compare the contents of the transition table and the excitation table, it is exactly the same. The reason why the contents of the transition table and the excitation table is exactly the same in the D flip-flop is because of this particular equation which says the next state is equal to the data that is being provided. So that is why as per whatever data that is provided, the next state will be exactly the same as that of the transition table. So this is basically a replica of the transition table in the case of the D flip-flop, wherein you have DA, DB to be replaced with FA and FB. Now, from the excitation table, we need to obtain the excitation equations. So for that, what we are going to do is we will try to write an equation for each flip-flop, that is D, input and for each output variable. So if you observe, whenever we specified in the next state, x and y corresponded to the input and z corresponded to the output. When we write the expression for the D flip-flop, that is DA, the first flip-flop DA, we need to search in the next state where it will be corresponding to logic 1. So if you look at that, you can see that I have highlighted here in yellow color corresponding to the outputs where it is equivalent to logic 1. So when I look at that, I have to write the minterms in the form FA, FB, X and Y. So the minterm will be a function of FA, FB, X and Y. So FA and FB is the present state. Next state will be X and Y. So because I am looking for DA, the first minterm that I have here is 0, 1, 0, 1. 0, 1, 0, 1 is equivalent to minterm 5. 1, 1, 0, 1 is equivalent to minterm 13. 1, 0, 0, 1 is equivalent to minterm 9. 0, 1, 1, 1 is equal to minterm 7 and 1, 1, 1, 1 is equal to minterm 15. Another minterm that is equal to 10 will be 1, 0, 1, 0. So all of these minterms corresponding to the flip-flop DA are highlighted in yellow color. Now coming to the flip-flop DB. So the ones that are highlighted in the blue will correspond to the flip-flop DB. So again the minterm will be written in the form FA, FB, X and Y. Now for that you have 0, 1, 0, 0 corresponding to 4, 0, 1, 0, 1 corresponding to 5, 0, 0, 1, 1 corresponding to 3, 0, 1, 1 corresponding to 7, all ones corresponding to 15, 0, 0, 1, 0 corresponding to 2, 0, 1, 1, 0 corresponding to 6 and 1, 1, 1, 0 corresponding to 14. So as you can see, each term in the DA and the DB equation is derived from the excitation table that we just obtained. Now using these minterms, we will try to map them onto the Karnaugh map and simplify and obtain the excitation equations. So I have classified this DA and DB and I can write the decimal notation equations for the excitation variables in this particular form. Now if you observe the excitation table, you would notice that Z was the output variable, correct? So this Z output variable was equal to logic 1 corresponding to only one particular minterm, and that is 1, 0, 1, 1. And this 1, 0, 1, 1 corresponds to the decimal notation 11. So that is why you can see that the output variable Z has a single term in its final equation which is equal to the decimal notation 11. Now using these decimal notation equations, I can easily map them onto the Karnaugh map. So here FA, FB, X and Y are the variables. So these are 4 variables that are being used. So you need to make use of a 4 variable Karnaugh map. So since you have a total of 3 terms, so you will be having 3 Karnaugh maps of 4 variable each. And I am going to consider FA to be the MSB and Y to be the LSB. So if I am considering FA to be the MSB and Y to be the LSB, the order in which I need to consider the mapping of the decimal notations would be in the downward direction. That is because the MSB is here and the LSB is here. So after mapping the min terms, I need to group them, and on grouping I get the various expressions for the flip-flops DA, DB and Z. So I get the expression as FA FB dash XY dash plus FA X dash Y plus FBY, and DB to be equal to FA dash FB plus FA dash X plus FBX, and the output variable is just one particular term corresponding to decimal notation 11, that is FA FB dash XY. So finally, after simplification using the Karnaugh map, these are the expressions that you are going to obtain, and these equations will be called as the excitation equations, which are obtained from the excitation table of that particular flip-flop. So in a similar manner, we will try to obtain the excitation table and equations for the T flip-flop. Now for that, what you need is, you need to understand the characteristic table and the equation for the T flip-flop. And these characteristic equation and the table, how we derive the equation and the table, I have already done in the tutorial for characteristic equations. So I would not be repeating it again, but you should recall that we write the present state and the next state, and in the case of the T flip-flop, the toggle will occur whenever you have an input of logic 1. So the next state will toggle when you have an input of logic 1. So you can see here, here initially output was 0, here output was 0, here output was 1, here output was 1. That was the present state. Whereas in the next state, whenever T is equal to 0, there won't be a change in the state, whereas whenever T is equal to 1, we have the toggling operation occurring from 0 to 1 and from 1 to 0. Otherwise, there won't be any change. Now, the transition table that is considered here is exactly the same that was initially considered for the type of the state diagram that we have drawn. So it was this state diagram and this was the state table. So the same thing has been considered here as well. Now in this case, what we are doing is, we are replacing the transition table with an excitation table by looking at the characteristic table. So if you observe in the T flip-flop, we have two flip-flops here, FA and FB. So it would be replaced with TA and TB, two T flip-flops. And the operation has to occur only when the input changes to logic 1, or the toggling should occur whenever there is input logic 1 appearing. So what you are going to do is, you are going to compare FA with FA here, so, and modify your excitation table accordingly. If you see the next state, initially it was all zeros in this case, okay? That is because 0, 0, there is no change, 0, 0, no change. Next you have 1 that is occurring, and for 1 you had the next state to be 0, whereas now it is supposed to change or switch to logic 1. A toggling has to occur because the state was logic 0, the toggling should occur, so it is changed to 1. Again now the input is 1, initially it was 0, it should change to logic 1. That is why I have highlighted this in green color to show you how the change is occurring. So what you need to basically do is, you need to compare FA with the FA of the next state, okay? And you have to compare FA here and modify TA. Why you have to modify TA? Because you are only looking into the first flip-flop, okay, that is FA. So here that is being replaced with TA. Always remember, you have to make modifications to only that flip-flop in which you are dealing with. So since a T flip-flop is having a single input, so only one flip-flop at a time you have to look into. So FA with FA here, so FA with TA here. So just compare the FA output of the next state with the TA output of the next state. Depending upon the value of FA, you need to make modifications to TA or TB. Similarly, let me consider the example of this. Here if you see, input is 0, next state is 1. Here, since input is 0, next state will remain equal to 1 itself. But whereas when input is 1 and here it is 1, next state here will change to 0. Input is 1, here it is 1, it will change to 0. Next in this case, I am going to only focus for toggle equal to 1, logic 1. Here it was 1, 0, so that is why here it will change to 0, 1. Here it was 0, 1, it will change to 1, 0 here. The rest of the parameters will remain as it is. So in this case, that is the first flip-flop for TA, I have only looked into FA, that is a present state where it was equal to logic 1, because in the T flip-flop, the output will change only when the input is equal to logic 1. In a similar manner, if I have to compare the present state and the next state for the second flip-flop, that is TB, I have to look for FB wherein I have a logic 1. And that is being highlighted in the blue color. So if you see here, you have 1, 1. So that is why 1, 0 will be changed to 0, 1, 1, 0 to 0, 1, 1, 1 to 0, 0, 1, 1 to 0, 0. So in this way, the modification can be done if you know the characteristic table of the flip-flop and you know the transition table. Now in this example, I have considered this to be the standard state diagram and this to be the standard transition diagram for my explanation purpose. Kindly remember that. In your examination, they might ask you to generate the next state table or the transition table and then obtain the excitation table. If I have to tell you the difference between the D flip-flop and the T flip-flop, you would be easily able to recognize that in the D flip-flop, your excitation table will be exactly the same as that of the transition table, except for the naming or the assignment of the variables. Whereas in this case, that is in the T flip-flop, it will not be the change. You need to make modifications in the next state. Now moving on to generating the equations for the T flip-flop. Now, to write the equations for the T flip-flop, you need to look for the output logic 1. So again, I have highlighted that in green color for TA and for TB. Again, you have a output variable Z, and that is equal to logic 1 only at this particular place. So I'm going to write the minterms in a similar manner like the way I have done earlier. But this time, since I know the procedure, so directly I have written 1100. 1100 is equal to 12. Then I have 1000 is equal to 8. 0101 is equal to 5. 0111 is equal to 7, 1011 is equal to 11, and 1110 is equal to 14. So that completes your TA, which is indicated in green. To write the expression for TB, I need to look into the ones that are highlighted in blue color, and I obtain it as minterm 2, 3, 12 and 13. Now try to map this onto the Karnaugh map, again considering FA to be the MSB and Y to be the LSB, and after mapping and grouping you obtain the expressions for TA, TB and the variable Z. So this variable Z will be the same throughout. Okay, that is because of our transition table that we have obtained. Our transition table had output variable z to be equal to 1 only for one of the min-term combinations. So that is why this expression is going to remain the same for all the flip-flops that we are going to go through today. So moving on, we have the excitation table for the SR flip-flop. Again here we will consider the characteristic table, and from the characteristic table we will obtain the application table. See, you need to remember one thing here. If you don't know how to generate the application table from the characteristic table for any of the flip-flops, you will not be able to understand this particular topic. So it's very much essential that you go through that particular tutorial. Then only it's possible for you to understand as to how we have obtained these application table expressions, how we have got this in this particular form. One major observation is that in the characteristic equations and how we have generated, there the don't care terms was represented as a dash, whereas in this case I have represented the don't care as D. So there is no hard and fast rule that you have to always represent a don't care as a dash or a D. You can use any of these forms. Okay. So now, since SR flip-flop has two inputs, we need to bring about a change in the Q output. So because there are two inputs, S and R, what we are going to do is, we will try to generate the SR excitation table by merging the transition table with the SR application table. So for that, what I have done is, I have written the application table here, okay, and we have the transition table here. This transition table, as I mentioned, it is the same for all the cases. Throughout, for the same state diagram, we are trying to understand for different flip-flops how it is being generated. So here I am having the application table. This is the transition table. What I need to do is, I need to compare for which flip-flop I am going to write the value or write the excitation table contents. So say I am writing it for the first flip-flop, okay. So since you have two inputs here, S and R, so two flip-flops means you need to consider SA, RA, SB, RB. Okay. So that is why you can see that the transition table contents here in this case on the top, that is the next state, have been replaced with SA, RA and SB, RB. Now how to fill in the contents of this particular next state is that you have to compare this particular present state and the next state of one particular flip-flop. If you are going for the first one, then you need to modify SARA. If you are comparing FB and FP, then you have to change SB and RB. Okay. Now look at this. 0, 0. 0, 0. Input is 0D. So that is what is been marked here. And that is written as 0D, which is marked in yellow. Then you have 0, 0 again. So here input will be 0D. Then you have 1, 0. 1, 0 is equal to 0, 1. So that is been marked in orange. Next you have 1, 0. Again this will be 0, 1. Now let me compare the second state or second flip-flop, FB and FB here, or I can say FB and SB/RB in this case. So here it will be 0, 0, 0D because 0D for 0, 0, 1, 1, D0, 1, 0 is 0, 1, 0, 0 is 0D. So if you observe, you have to look at only one particular flip-flop and change the inputs depending upon what is the function FA and A in the next state corresponding to in the transition table. So the same thing applies for all the remaining next state contents that are present. The output variable Z will be equal to logic 1, same like the way it is for the transition table. So if I have to explain the second one, say 0, 0, okay, that is, it would be for SA and RA. So 0, 0 is equal to 0D, 0, 1 will be equal to 1, 0, 1, 1 will be equal to D0, and 1, 1 will be equal to D0. So I have compared FA with FA here to write SA and RA in the second column of the next state. So this way we can generate the excitation table for the SR flip-flop. Now how to write the equations for the SR flip-flop? For that, you need to look for don't care terms and you need to look for min terms corresponding to SA, RA, SB and RB. So since you have don't care terms here, even they have to be included, otherwise not required. So all the don't care terms and the min terms have been included here corresponding to SA, RA, SB and RB. Now using these shorthand decimal notations, we will map them onto the Karnaugh map, again considering FA to be the MSB and Y to be the LSB, and after mapping we will group them, obtain the simplified expressions, and this is what we get. SA to be equal to FBY, RA to be equal to FB dash XY plus X dash Y dash plus FBY dash, SB to be equal to FA dash X, RB to be equal to FA X dash. One important thing to be remembered here is that we have not drawn the Karnaugh map for the variable, that is the output variable Z, but that is going to remain the same corresponding to min term 11. You should remember that, that is because we have used the same state table, that is a next state table and the transition table for the same state diagram we have used. So the output variable will not change. The last one, excitation table for the JK flip-flop. Again, characteristic table has to be used. From the characteristic table we obtain the application table, and because you have JK flip-flop having two inputs, so both of them are required to bring about a change in the output Q. So to obtain the JK excitation table, what we do is we merge the transition table with the application table. Now here this is the application table, this is the transition table. All you need to do is replace FA and FB with JA, KA, that is the first flip-flop. Second flip-flop will be JB, KB. Again, comparison has to be done in a similar manner like the SR flip-flop. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, D. 0, 0, 0, D. 1, 0, D1. Say for the second flip-flop, 1, 1, D0. 0, 0 will be equal to 0D. So in this way you need to proceed to all the remaining contents of the excitation table. Now when you write the expressions or the equations for the excitation table, you need to look at what is or where is the min term and the don't care term for JA, KA, JB, KB in the excitation table. 1 minute. So you need to look for the min terms and the don't care terms in this excitation table for JA, KA, JB, KB. So you can see for JA we have don't care terms here. So this would be, as an example, let me consider 1100 is equal to 12. It's a don't care term. So similarly, if I want to look for a min term, this is 0101, which is equal to 5. So that way you can proceed. Moreover, the output variable z, again the expression will remain the same corresponding to min term 11, because this is equal to 1011. Now separately I have considered J and Ka. I have mapped the min terms and the don't care terms, grouped them and obtained the excitation equations. Ja is equal to fby, K is equal to x dash y dash plus fb y dash plus fp dash xy. Similarly, I have considered for JB, KB, mapped them, grouped them, and this is the expression that I get. So this way it is possible for us to obtain the excitation table and the excitation equation if you know the state table, if you know the transition table, and mainly if you know the state diagram. That is because state table is generated from the state diagram, transition table is generated from the state table, and excitation table is generated from the transition table. So all this go in one single flow. It is possible only if you begin with the state diagram that you can generate all the remaining things. So this part of the tutorial is basically a continuation of the state machine notations itself. So there could be numericals wherein they will not give you the state table directly or the transition table directly. They will give you the state diagram. From there they will ask you to generate the excitation equations. So you have to look at the state diagram, generate the state table, then the transition table. After that, generate the excitation table, and finally you will be able to obtain the excitation equations. So with that, one part of the tutorial is complete. Moving on, we have the next one, that is the excitation realization cost. Now, we have seen various flip-flops that we had generated, and the excitation expressions also we have seen. Now using those same excitation expressions or the equations, we will see what will be the realization cost. A realization cost will correspond to the number of the inputs or the number of the gate inputs that are required. Okay. So for the JK flip-flop, this was the excitation equation for the state diagram that we had considered. If you remember, the state diagram that we had considered was this. So this was the state diagram that we had considered, and for that state diagram we had obtained the expressions in this particular form. Now if I have to realize these expressions, I would require these many AND gates. You can see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2 input AND gates, and 1 3 input AND gate, and 1 3 input OR gate. So if I am going to number all these inputs, the total number of gate inputs that are required is 16. So the realization cost of the JK flip-flop in this particular case would be 16 gate inputs. Now one important observation that you need to make here is that in the transition table we also had an output variable Z, and that expression is not considered. If I am going to consider the variable Z, that is the output variable Z, the complete realization of the JK flip-flop will have the same 16 inputs. Along with that you have JA, KA, which would be given to FA, FB bar output, and that would generate FA, FB bar X and Y, and this would be making use of a 4 input AND gate to obtain the variable Z. So this is the complete realization of the JK flip-flop, and moreover if you are considering the complete realization of the JK flip-flop, the cost, the realization cost would be increased by the same amount for all the flip-flops that you are going to look into further. That is because the output variable is uniform for all of them. Now, coming to the SR realization. For the SR realization, this were the excitation equations that we have seen, and if I am going to realize this, I need to count the number of gate inputs for each of them, and you can see that again in this case the cost would be 16 gate inputs. You have SA, RA, SB, RB. Again the realization for the output variable Z is not been included. So both JK and SR flip-flop is having the realization cost of 16 gate inputs, and the complete realization including the output variable Z is shown here. So as I mentioned earlier, the cost of increase would be uniform for all the flip-flops even if you increase the output variable Z. For the last one, that is the T realization, this is the excitation equation that we have seen, and here we will require 25 gate inputs. That is because you can see that to realize the expression TA itself, you have a lot many number of AND gates that are required, and you also require more number of inputs, like you require 4 input AND gate. In this case you would require 3 input AND gates. So because of that, the number of gate inputs in the case of the T flip-flop would be 25, which is much higher than the JK and the SR. When you look at the complete realization including the output variable, again it would increase by the same amount like the SR and the JK. So this is the complete realization. Last one is the D flip-flop, and for the realization of the D flip-flop, the excitation equations are given. In this case, the cost of the realization will be 21 gate inputs, and with the complete realization Z, you will have to include these gate inputs as well. So the amount of increase would be more. So to summarize, I can say that the relative cost in terms of the gate inputs for each of the realization can be seen from the excitation diagram or the excitation table or the excitation equations, and the output logic is not included because it is the same for each. So if you can recall, initially when I showed you the cost of realization for each of the flip-flop, I didn't show the complete realization. So initially it was 16 and 16 for JK and 25 and 21 for T and D flip-flop. It would be increased by the same amount if you include the output logic. So comparing the logic realization cost, we can say that JK realization and SR realization are winners, and D and T flip-flop realizations are considerably greater. That is because you require more number of AND gates and OR gates. So to conclude, lower the gate input cost, lower will be the number of ICs that are required. Moreover, the gate input cost is very much helpful if a programmable gate array is used to realize the system logic.